Hey guys, What If Maker here, back with another video. Today's gonna be part 2 of what if Deku had a anger/love quirk, or well, fire/water quirk. So anyways, someone pointed out that in my last part I made some mistakes. So in this, Izuku won't have the nickname Deku anymore because just realized he got his nickname after he was 5. But because he was abandoned at 4, couldn't get the nickname, and because I'm gonna change it so Izuku's sister will be his twin. The thing is, after Izuku was abandoned for being quirkless, she got a concussion, which ended up with memory loss, and she forgot the past 3 years. The past 3 years, and she couldn't remember anything from being young. So and her parents, Hisashi and Inko, wouldn't tell them about Izuku. But I'm still gonna refer to him as Deku because I'm pretty lazy. Don't want to keep saying Izuku. Deku's easier to say. So anyways, we're gonna go to where I left off. It's the UA entrance exam, and this time, Izuku won't trip since he'd be way smarter from studying before. And remember, Izuku has black hair and black eyes. Black and dark blue eyes. So anyways, he goes to do the written exam. He aces that easily after studying for the past 4 weeks. And then we get to the robot part. Bakugo sees him. He's like, "Is that Izuku? I haven't seen him since we were kids." And Izuki is with Bakugo, and he's like, "Who's?" And she is like, "Who's Izuku?" Then Bakugo says, "How do you not know him? He's your twin brother." And then Izuki is like, "I have a twin brother? My parents never said I had a brother." And then Baku's like, "Yeah, he went missing right after he got his quirk. Don't know what happened to him, he just went missing." Oh yeah, and in this, Bakugo won't be as self-centered or egotistical as he normally was. He'd be a little bit nicer, but he'd still be arrogant, like in the canon. But he will be able to make friends easier due to him being nicer. But Izuku basically is like a quiet yet a quiet and confident person, but he doesn't like talking to people. So anyways, and the only reason why Bakugo knows it's Izuku, because Izuku's green tint, Izuku dyed a part of his hair green, back to his dark green color from canon. And I'm sorry if I do get any of this wrong. I really haven't watched any of them. I haven't watched any My Hero Academia. I just listened to a lot of What Ifs, so I had inspiration. So, yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna go to the start of the combat phase of the entrance exam. So President Mike's counting down 3, 2, 1. Then Izuku just bolts through it and sends ice spears through at all the robots, racking up 30 points in the very beginning, getting first. And seeing this, Bakugo is shocked, but he just starts going. And a week before doing this, Izuku practiced with, trained with his fire, so he can now grow, make fire, that moment in Seven Deadly Sins where Meliodas uses demon form and he grew a wing with his arm. Deku can do that, but with his black fire now. So he's just flying around with wings on his arms, sending in black spears through all of his robots, killing them. Izuku racks up 170 points. So now he's like, oh, I have enough points. I'll probably finish. And it's about to end. In this, Bakugo gets easy second place with 90 points. But Izuku's making his way back, and then all he sees is a bunch of people running away from back to them, towards him. He turns around and just sees a bunch of people running away towards him. And then he sees a giant robot, and then he hears a scream, and he's like, "What's that?" Then he sees Ochako Uraraka, stuck under some rubble. So he runs over, creates a blade with his arm out of fire, and he slices the robot in half. And then he lifts up the debris, and then off Ochako's leg, and carries her all the way to safety. And with this, Izuku gets to 140 points, because I believe rescue points are 60 point rescue points. Yeah, we'll just go with 60. And with that was the end of the exams, the entrance exams. And in this, Izuku now lives in an apartment because he got a job as a delivery boy. And so he just has an apartment. So after that, he just grows one flame wing and flies home. Now we're going to skip the full week. All he did that week was train and train and train, because he's trying to get stronger for when he gets into UA. It's only gonna be a 30-minute what if, because I maybe because I say so. And so and then the day he gets his UX letter, a hologram comes out of nowhere, out of the letter, with All Might saying, "Congratulations, you are in UA, and you had the highest scores out of everybody there." Izuku is mildly excited. but not as excited as he would be in canon. So, we're going to skip to the first day of UA. Midoriya, not Midoriya, Izuku goes to school and walks into class and he sees Izuki, Bakugo, and Ida talking, because since Bakugo isn't as self-centered in this or arrogant, he is actually pretty nice to everyone, but he is still pretty arrogant, so he believes he's the strongest, but he really isn't. So they wait a little bit until everybody just starts coming in, and then once everyone's in, they're questioning where the teacher is, and then all they see is someone in a beanbag standing up behind the desk at the front, and they see and the person at front is Mr. Aizawa. Aizawa, how do you say it? No, Aizawa. Yeah, Mr. Aizawa. And he's like, okay, we're going to do a physical exam, and whoever gets the lowest marks will get expelled. Everyone's questioning this except Izuku, and they're like, what? We worked hard to get into school. Minus like the kids that got into what way is that actually? I forgot. Never mind. They still worked hard. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So they all so they all go outside, switch into their gym uniforms, and Mr. As always says we're going to do the ball throw, but this time use your quirk, and he says because Izuku got first place in the entrance exams, he's gonna throw first. And because Izuku is literally muscular as fuck, he literally gets the ball free and uses his fire to make it into a jet engine and literally just throws it as hard as he can, sending it flying. And he gets infinite. So it goes like that for basically everything. Izuku winning, beating everyone, because he is faster than Ida in this. Never mind, no. He gets second in the race. Because he doesn't want to use his wings that he can make. So he just runs. He barely loses to Ida in that. But he beats everyone else in everything. Except a ball throw. He ties with Uraraka. Because she got infinite as well. And in this, Shoto is actually pretty confident. He's not as quiet, but he will be. By the way, I will not be doing ships. If you comment a ship you want, I might do a ship. Just maybe. Anyways. So with this, and then it ends up, Mineta getting expelled. But the thing is, yeah, he gets expelled, and it's like, darn, Mineta's gone. Which no one really even cared. Which I'm still questioning how he even got into Class 1A. Like, what? Your Quirk is sticky balls. Wow, so strong. Anyways. So they go back to class, and Mr. Aizawa tells them about this thing that they're going to. It's called the USJ. So then everyone goes to the dorms. And then we skip to the next day, which is the USJ. And so they're on the bus ride there to the place, and they're like talking about quirks and stuff. And then Bakugo asks Izuku, "What's his quirk?" And then Izuku's like, "I actually have two quirks. One is black flame, and one is copy water, or liquid copy, or some shit like that." And they're like, "Wow, those are decent, pretty strong quirks." And then, well, yeah, and then Izuki asks, it's Izuku, "What do the quirks do?" And then Izuku explains that the black flame literally is the hottest flame, and if it just touches you, it literally starts incinerating your skin and everything around it. And then he also explains that his the wet copying liquid copy, if you're wet in general with that water on, if you get hit by the water in any spot on your body, he can copy your quirk until you dry off. So, and they're like, "Wow, those are pretty strong quirks." And then Izuku doesn't tell them that he has one for all, because it's a secret. So they're gonna get there, and then they're gonna get there. 13's gonna be explaining what's going on, and then they're just gonna see portals starting to appear everywhere, and hundreds of villains are just gonna start pouring out of those portals. And then in the last portal, the Nomu Shigaraki and Kurogiri comes out, and Shigaraki tells Kurogiri to split up the students, and so this Izuki will be with Bakugo, and Izuku will still be with Sue and Mineta. Well, would be Mineta, but he got expelled. And he literally got expelled. Not like some fake bullshit expulsion. He actually did. And so he gets there. And the boat, and and Sue and Deku are on a boat, surrounded by villains. So Izuku just puts out his arm and just starts sending out ice. Izuku starts sending out ice crystals that start either knocking out villains or killing them. Then Izuku picks up Sue and then grows wings on his arm, on his back, so he just starts flying. And he gets back to the main. He drops off Sue with 13, and he flies around and he finds Bakugo and Izuki cornered by villains until Izuku comes flying down and burns all of them, literally incinerating them. And then Izuku picks them up and takes them over to 13. And then Izuku tells Ida to go grab All Might, and then Shigaraki sends in Nomu to start killing the students, and then so Izuku says he'll fend off Nomu. So he activates one for all, and he goes up and punches the Nomu, but because it has shock absorption, doesn't really do as much damage. So Izuku backs up and then thinks about another plan. So he plans on. So then he uses his ice, water, and fire. He turns his water into ice, and then he put the ice on the tip of the ice on fire, and then he supersized that bitch. Like, it's a freaking ice statue, and he literally throws it as hard as he can. Izuku then throws the giant icicle with the flame on the tip at the fucking Nomu, taking its head clean off. Don't mind the crunching, I'm eating an apple. Izuku then starts shooting water out of his hands at some of them at some of the villains, and he gained some of their quirks. One of them had like a super good had a super telekinesis quirk. So he picks up the Nomu and throws it right back at Shigaraki. But when he throws it back, he infused it with he put some of his fire in it, and it's literally burning, and he throws it right back at Shigaraki using his telekinesis. And then when All Might gets there, he sees that everything is under wraps and villain and police and stuff. Police and ambulances are showing up, and they're arresting all the villains. So they go back to UA, and they got a week off due to this the accident. And during this week, Izumi went up to Izuku, and Izuki went up to Izuku and asked him, "Is your name Izuku Midoriya?" And Izuku's like, yeah, that's my name, but I don't go by Midoriya anymore. I was abandoned." And then Izumi's like, Izuki is like, oh, well, my name's Izuki Midoriya. And then Izuku's like, is your dad Hisashi Midoriya? Izuki is like, oh, yeah. Izuki is like, can you come back home with me? And because Izuku has nothing else to do, so he says, sure. And so he goes back to, the, back to Izuki's house. She says, I'm here, I'm home. Inko comes around. Izuki says, I'm home and I brought a friend. Oh yeah, and by the way, Bakugo is with them. And then Izuki is like, Mom, I'm home, I brought a friend with me and Bakugo. Because in this, Bakugo's cousins with, with Izuku and, Izuki. Because their moms are, siblings. So, then Inko comes around the corner to see them. And, oh yeah, and in this, Izuku's pretty tall. He's like 6 foot. And they're all 15, so, she says, oh, who's your friend? Inko asks Izuki, oh, who's your friend with the green and black hair? Izuki's like, oh, this is Izuku. And then Inko's like, what is that quirkless kid doing here? And then Izuku's like, I'll have you know that I am not fucking quirkless. Uh-huh. And then Izuku, and Inko's like, mm-hmm. Sure you aren't, you quirkless frickin' loser. Then to prove it, then Izuku, starts a fire in his hand, a black fire in his left hand to prove that he isn't quirkless. And with this Inko's shocked. Is like, where do you get a quirk from? You were born quirkless. Well, Inko. And then Izuku's like, well, Inko, well, after you left me to die in the fucking forest, my anger got the best of me, and I started shooting out fire out of my hands. And guess what? I didn't manifest one quirk, but I actually manifested 2 quirks. Then Izuku starts turning water, and then he starts shooting ice out of his finger. Like water out of his finger, and he starts freezing it into ice. And then Inko looks at this and is shocked. Because it's been 11 years since she's seen him, and he has gained 2 quirks. So Izuki, Bakugo, and Izuku all went up to Izuki's room. No, went to Bakugo's room, because Bakugo's staying with Inko, Hisashi, and Izuki for a week because his parents are out of town for the month. So they just hang out for a little bit, and then it gets late. So Izuku plans on going home, but then Hisashi comes back while Izuku's getting ready to leave. And then he asks who he is, and he's like, Izuku. Nice to see you too, Dad. Then and then Hisashi's like, don't call me Dad, you quirkless freak. And then Izuku gets mad again, and and with him getting mad, he shoots off a little bit of fire from his freaking arm. Because if Izuku gets too mad, he can literally, his fire just starts covering his arm. And so, from this, Hisashi starts taking a step back, and he's like, where did you get that quirk from? And then Izuku's like, I'll have you know, after they tested me quirkless, and then you left me, I got so mad that I just accidentally shot a fire from my hand. So, all your fault. And I'll have you know that I'm already 10 times stronger than your ass ever was. Because Izuku literally can put out Hisashi's fire with ease. His fire could outburn Hisashi's fire any day. And that's only because Hisashi doesn't have that much hate. He really only has the hate towards Deku, because he's quirkless. And in this, Bakugo doesn't look towards quirkless people as weak. He looks towards them as, like, helpless, and they need help to train or stuff like that. Because he's actually pretty nice in this. So Izuku just walks past Hisashi. And then Hisashi turns around and sends a blue fire at him. And with this, because Izuku trained his body, the fire doesn't do anything to him. So he just starts walking around with fire he just starts walking home. And then he puts out the fire with water. He just makes a bubble. He just starts washing the fire off with some water. Putting the fire out with some water. So then we skip to the next day, where Izuku now has his Bakugo's and Izuki's phone number in his phone. So he texts Bakugo and he's like, yo, do you want to, like, hang out or something, being trained? Bakugo's like, yeah, I'm down. Where do you want to meet up? And then Izuku's like, yo, let's hang out at the beach. We'll train there. It's a private beach. Nobody should be there. It's fine if we trespass as long as we don't do anything bad. So Izuku and Bakugo meet up at like 12 to hang out at the training grounds. And Izuki comes with Inko and Hisashi because they have a day off, and they want to see how strong Izuku is. So Izuku and Bakugo get into fighting stances, and Bakugo sends off an explosion. Deku does a backflip over this, and sprouts a wing out of his left arm, and then he makes it into a blade, slicing Bakugo. And like it's a dull blade, so it won't slice him, like kill him. It'll just hurt. And I forgot to say, because of the more love Izuku has, the stronger his water gets, and if he gets a lot of love, he can actually start gaining healing properties to his water. But he can barely. But the only way to put it healing properties into your water is by like putting more energy into into the water to make it so it heals. So then Bakugo gets up, uses explosions to come out. Puts explosions from his feet and just starts flying towards Izuku. Because in this he can rocket around with explosions coming from his feet. And Inko and Hisashi are like thinking, this is Bakugo's signature move. He's so gonna lose. Then Izuku just grows 2 wings on his back and just flies up. So they're having a mid-air battle. Izuku then sends in water at Bakugo, hitting him. And with this, Izuku instantly can copy Bakugo's quirk. So he waits until Bakugo gets close. Bakugo goes for explosion. He misses. Izuku uses his own explosion on his stomach, sending him flying. And this knocks out Bakugo. So then, Izuku uses puts more energy into his water and uses some of its healing properties. Puts healing properties into the water and heals Bakugo. And in this, Bakugo and Izuku are going to be homies. And in this, the main homies for Izuku will probably be like Bakugo and Todoroki. But we're just going to skip to the ones that go back to school. Izuku trained all week with Bakugo and Izuki. He also practiced doing new strategies. And he now can put his full-on armor. He can make a fire armor on both his arms without putting any burns. Well, he has a few burn marks on his arms, but that's just from overworking. From overusing his quirk. Because if he overuses it, he will have like intense burn marks on his arms and wherever he was using the fire from. So we're just gonna skip. And then Aizawa is gonna be like, okay, so class, now that you're back, we're gonna have the sports festival in 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to train. Good luck. So anyways, this is where I'm gonna end this part of what if Izuku had a anger/love quirk, or black flame, or liquid copy quirk. And peace. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more. And comment your ships if you want any ships for this. And I don't have any scripts, so bye.